All right, we're recording now. Welcome, everyone. We will get started looking at some charts. If anybody has any particular questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we will just tear through the charts like we normally do. So you can see that Bitcoin went up and hit the top of the area of resistance that we had drawn. And then rejected off of it pretty hard. It's currently sitting at the 23.6 retracement, which is probably where it's going to turn around. It'll probably do something like that. Does your sound good, George? Cool. So a really powerful rejection off of the resistance area, but not really anything to be concerned about, in my opinion. We may see it come down, and it's possible that it come down and hit the 38.2 in confluence with this trend line before it goes up. So those are the two scenarios that I think are most likely. Any questions about Bitcoin? All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. Oh dear. Ethereum really dropped today. Only thing that I see on Ethereum is that we did have a head and shoulders complete here. So it's possible that that is what is causing it to drop like this. And if so, it's going to fall back down to the 61.8 retracement of that move before turning back around. Doge. We can take a look at Doge. Yeah, this is one that I've never really looked at. Oh man. It's been around for a long time though. Well, it looks like it's in between this. Let's see. I hear the feedback from Echo or from Kevin's mic again. I don't really see anything super obvious about Doge other than the fact that it looks like it spiked up to try to aim towards the top of this trend line. Didn't quite make it. But it did range all the way down to the bottom, so assuming that it respects this trend line, it's probably going to do something like this. It looks like it was just a spike towards the top of the trend line. Didn't quite hit, but it did hit the bottom. That's a good bit of 30% ranging today. We could call that a trend line too. Hello, hello, hello. Nope, no feedback, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't really have a purpose. It's just a BS coin that people buy because they think it's funny. To each their own. Anyway, what do we want to look at? Let's look at Litecoin. Whoa. Interesting. So it spiked up out of the box, consolidated above the box. And then came back down. So now I would expect this to hit the bottom of this trend line somewhere before continuing up, hitting probably right here. I'm adjusting that a little bit before coming back down and hitting that trend line. And this is still where I would buy it, around 230. You could get in now when it hits this bottom trend line, but be prepared for a little bit of consolidation probably. It will probably consolidate until it bursts out of the rectangle and retest the trend line. Hi, Joe. What else do you guys want to see? I want to see my alt stop bleeding. George, where are you seeing a cup and handle? It depends on the situation, where it is in the process, but it can be a good thing. I'm pretty sick of looking at TRX. Wow. So TRX went full retard back to the bottom of this trend line where it has found a little bit of support. That's what all these wicks are. That was a brutal drop. Staying oversold. You can see at the bottom here. Oversold this entire area. Oh. That's pretty uncharacteristic. It's a little bit surprising. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Tron is dropping this much, honestly. It's a little bit weird. If you look back in the history, there's not a time that it has stayed this oversold for this long. All the way back. You can look, I mean, the entire history that it's been on the exchange, that's the longest it's stayed oversold. But it did seem to catch some support at this bottom trend line that we had. So hopefully this will be the point of rejection. Man, I hadn't even noticed that everything was dropping today. I've been busy though. So as you can see, we are at support for Poe. So there's a couple trend lines here. I'd say it's probably pretty likely that this is going to go any farther down. But I have said that before. It kind of worries me that this didn't catch support here. Let's get rid of these Fibonacci. It's making our chart look messy. I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't catch support at this trend line here. And then we actually retested it. I wouldn't say it's the only thing that could save you. I mean, I think Tron is still a good project long term. I think it just got hyped up a little too fast. I think we'll probably catch support here, hopefully. We'll probably look for the retest on this. I would look for a bullish engulfing there for an order. This is the general path that I think is probably most likely for Poe. You can see that this will be in confluence with, and I bet that's also a retracement level. Not quite. Yeah, so for Poe, if you want to be safe, I'd wait for it to break above this blue line here before you put any more in it. Oh. Man, it has been a long time coming, but I think metal is going to hit this bottom trend line that we've been waiting for. So all this time that we've been talking about metal, it's been kind of coming down to this. Somewhere in here is where I think it's headed. So that's a pretty substantial trend line there. This is metal. Remember, it's at the top left, DJ? MTL, BTC. Gotcha. Yeah, that was metal. Now we're looking at salt, which is also diving. It looks like we might hit this support. These alts are disappointing me. So, it looks like we may. Let's see if there's a trend line I need to look at there. So there's a trend line there. That's been hit a couple times. So that's also in confluence with this support zone. So I think that is probably where it's going to stop. Somewhere in this range. Alts are being pretty disappointing right now. If you ever made a call on SYS or Ardor, I called SYS at one point, but it hit 100% before the crash. Ardor, I don't think I've ever called. Yeah, and everything is down of mine too. I haven't even looked at my portfolio today. I'm kind of scary. I'm kind of scared to now. Let me see. Yeah, everything's dropping real fast. It'll be okay though. By now, you guys know how it goes. There's good times, there's bad times. If it makes you feel any better, I'm down 13.42%. And when you have a few $100,000 in, that's a lot of money. Wait until the first to see how storage does, hits the market then. Yeah, I'm excited about that ICO too. Anyway, this is my thoughts on salt. I haven't heard of Buzz. It's not on TradingView. Dang. We found a new area of consolidation. Never heard of Bar either, but I can take a look at it. Haven't looked at KMD in a while. Part of why I think everything is dropping is because of the Bitcoin rally, but consolidation means sideways movement. So not up or down, but just kind of ranging up and down in a sideways fashion. No problem. So we were oversold in RSI. We hit the bottom of this trend line, and then we had a bullish engulfing on the 4 hour. So that's a pretty good sign. So overall, I would say we need to look for probably something like that. What can I use to chart coins not on Binance? So coins not on Binance. If it's not on TradingView, you're going to need to use Coinigy, which there's a link to Coinigy on the accounts to create page. Coinigy. And if Coinigy won't integrate with it, then you'll need to use the charting software wherever it's at, which I believe Hush is on Cryptopia, and they've got pretty crappy charting software. So yeah, it costs money to use Coinigy, but it's $15 a month. For $15 a month, I think it's worth having. Certainly makes my life a lot easier. But there's my general thoughts on KMD. I'll do DNT next. Yeah, that's only if you want to be able to chart coins that aren't on TradingView. Well, we broke out of the triangle and then now have managed to find our way back. We're at the 78.6 retracement. We are also oversold. Staking is a good thing. It's a really easy way to make passive income. So I am a fan of staking. If you have no experience with staking, I recommend checking out Lunar Staking Group. It's a nonprofit free staking pool that a couple buddies of mine and I run, and essentially it lets you pool your coins into a staking pool where they give you grander returns. Favorite coin to stake? It depends on what you're looking for. There's some that are not a huge return coin, but grow more organically in value. And an example of that would be like PIVX or Qtum. There's also some random ones like KB3 that give really nice returns, but are kind of crap coins, so to speak. So it just depends on what you're looking for. But check out Lunar Staking. If you don't have the link to it, I'll drop the link in the Technical Art Discord so you can read up and meet people and learn more about staking. Okay, we can look at Bar. Oh, Bar's not on here. I don't. What exchange is Bar on? Man, I'm getting all kinds of notifications of things tanking. It's not any fun. Bar. It's only on HitBTC. Doesn't look very popular. So I'm not sure on Bar. That's not one that I'm really very confident about, especially considering there's a question mark with the circulating supply and the market cap. It's usually not a good sign. Yeah, I'll have to look more into this. That's not one that I'm familiar with. It's US based. Yeah, I'll have to look more into it. I'll put it on my to-do list along with Nomad Coin, which I also haven't had the chance to look at yet. Okay. there's a good bit that I go through when I look for ICO. Let me see if I have. Thought I might have. Oh, you know what? I remember where I put it. Trying to find. I guess I don't have. I guess I don't have it written up, but I will. Ethos. That's not one that I've looked at either. You seem to like a lot of ICO coins, DJ. Oh, this one's on Binance. Did it just come out? Wonder why it's not showing up here. I don't know why it's not showing up on TradingView. I'll have to look into that one too. I'm not sure, that's not one that I'm familiar with, but I'm surprised it's not on TradingView. That's a person's face. Oh, they rebranded to BK or BQX. That's why. It's not a bad time to get in. You can see that it's at a pretty strong level of support. It actually is a little bit past a pretty strong level of support. We are oversold. Here's an example of a oops. It's an example of a cup and handle. Not super clean, but you can see that once the handle broke out, it was quite the run. pretty good time to get in. Let's see what retracement level it's at. That spike was pretty crazy. So the 618 was around where that level of support was. It's kind of not anywhere right now based on technicals. I would say it's not a bad time to get in just because it's because of this low right here. But other than that, I'm a little bit surprised that it's dropped this far. It's also not one that I'm super familiar with, so I don't really know the behavior of it. But yeah, if you like the project, if you like the fundamentals of it, it's not a bad time to get in. All right. Let me think about, I can look at OMG. OMG bypassed that leg of it. I think we'll probably see it do something like that. OMG is so far following the path that we set. Let's see. Someone said XVG earlier. We can take a look at XVG. So it's kind of following the path that we had set, right? This is another higher high. This is another higher low. I think XVG will have it stay again. Unfortunately, it's just moving kind of slow. I think it's probably going to continue along this channel like I was predicting before. But once it breaks out above this red massive trend line, then it should be good for another run. But for the time being, it seems to be doing what we expected. Kind of ranging sideways in this channel, just barely making higher lows and higher highs. All right, what else you guys want to see? I've got time for a couple more. NYC, man, you're always bringing ones to the table that I've never even heard of. I'll do ENG first, and then I'll find out what's going on with NYC. So when the market crashed, we broke structure right here. Broke structure, retested this as resistance. Broke through that support zone, retested as resistance. These are no longer relevant. Neither are these. Now we're back in the support zone. So I think that at this point we'll probably see this come down and tap the trend line. It was almost a head and shoulders, but it wasn't. What was this? ENG. My brain's a little fried. It's been a long day. Yeah, I can explain a head and shoulders. So a head and shoulders is when you have a shoulder and then a head that's higher and then a shoulder. And then the premise behind a head and shoulder pattern. So oh no. Get out of drawing mode. And this doesn't have to be exact. It can be a little bit off. As long as ideally you want these to be pretty close to equal, and this middle part has to be higher. So whether this be way up here or down here, it doesn't matter as long as the middle run is higher than the two sides. And then you can come over here and grab the head and shoulder tool and you map it out. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Okay. And how you trade a head and shoulders is when price comes down over here and breaks the neckline. Oops. So this line right here is the neckline. When price breaks the neckline, then it's expected to drop. And the way that you measure where it's going to complete totally is you take a measurement from the top of the head to the neckline in a straight line. You can use a trend line, and then you put it over here. So if this head had been way up here, then we would have been taking a measurement from the top of this down here. And then this would be where you would consider this head and shoulders pattern totally complete. That makes sense, George? And this can work the other way too. This is a regular head and shoulders, and you can have an inverse head and shoulders that looks like this. And then the completion would go like that. No problem, Greg. Hopefully that helps explain that to everybody. So in this case, the reason this was not a head and shoulders, right, is that we had a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder. But why was this not a head and shoulders? Can anybody tell me? It's not a head and shoulders, not because of the baseline, but because the left shoulder is higher than the head. For a head and shoulders to be valid, the head has to be higher. So this could have been considered a head and shoulders if the head came all the way up here, but the head is lower than the left shoulder, so that makes it invalid. All right. I've got time for one more before I got to scram. What do you guys want to see? There's not a chart for NYC. I'm not even sure where that. It's only on Trade Satoshi and Yobit. So I wouldn't consider that very valid, especially considering the price is only 1 Satoshi. So this is the kind of coin that you can just throw a couple cents in and, a couple bucks and forget about it. I'll do ETC and then Ubiq, and then we'll call it. I want to do ETC because we're coming up on the fork soon. So I think I let you guys know. I remember sending a message when we hit the top of this trend line saying that you could take some profit there. I'm not going to count it against anyone if you didn't, but hopefully some of you guys took profit up here. If not, we did come down and find some support here, but it did not last. Didn't last, continued to drop to the next support. Now we've run back up, played around in this support area a little bit, and now we're dropping again. Oh, actually we can get rid of that. I don't need that. So there is a trend line here. So I'm expecting this to tap this trend line and then continue up to this area. That's my general thoughts. The fork is coming up relatively soon, I believe, or not the fork, the airdrop. So for Callisto. So it'll be interesting to see if the price pumps up again. Now, we do have kind of a, let me see. Nah. Thought I saw a pattern in there. An airdrop just means that if you hold the coin or if you're on the exchange, then you get free tokens essentially. So in this situation, they're doing an ETC fork and they're airdropping the new coin, the forked coin Callisto, to anyone that holds ETC on the exchange. So if you have ETC, make sure you have it on Binance, because I believe they're one of them that are respecting the airdrop. So you'll get some free coins out of it if you hold it on. And the new coin's called Callisto, and you'll get 1 Callisto token for every 1 ETC that you have on the exchange. Free money. All right, I'm going to do this, and then I'll do Ubiq, and then I got to go. If it's free, it's for me. Ubiq has been kind of disappointing. Oh, well, it's kind of doing what we thought it was going to do, right? we had an arrow pointing downward. Now this trend line can be adjusted because we have a wick now. So I'm going to adjust this trend line to here. And we're going to call that a hit on the trend line. So I think that, oh, nope, that's not what I want. So let's zoom out to the 4 hour. I really don't like the Yobit exchange at all. So I'm not familiar with their whatever they've got going on. That's probably one of my least favorite exchanges. So we hit the bottom of this trend line, so I think that we'll probably come up and hit here, do a retracement. That's also a support zone. And then continue on our way like this arrow suggests. And there is, I believe, a really big trend line here. So good news for UBIC. Hopefully we are about to catch some nice support on the bottom of this channel. And once we pop back into this channel, then it's going to be a smooth sailing up to the top, I believe. Oops. Is that the right one? Yeah. I think I've got time for BNB. Yeah. It has been a hot minute since I looked at this. I've been risk-free on BNB for a while. Once I get risk-free on a coin, I usually don't follow it so closely anymore. So the bottom of this trend line is also in confluence with the 618 retracement. So that's a zone to look for. We are oversold though by a lot, which kind of leads me to believe that this may not come down that far. Trend line galore. It's going to be interesting to see how this behaves. I think we might see this continue to drop a little bit, but it also is at a pretty, I don't know. I mean, there was a pretty strong bearish engulfing candle out of there. So this is one I would keep an eye on. If you can get it down in the 7,000 to 8,000 Satoshi range, I think that's a pretty good buy. That's also the 78.6 of the smaller move. So that's a zone I would definitely keep an eye on. You can get a buy in there. If you don't already have BNB, if you can get a buy there, I think you'll be in pretty good shape. All right, guys, I've got a split. Thank you all for coming. I will let you guys know when the next session will be, and I will also put the recording of this in the past recordings channel for everyone to check out. Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.